I want to tell you about a great country. I want to tell you about South Africa. It's the economic powerhouse in Africa. We have the best rugby team in the world. The Springboks. We have the best sevens rugby team in the world. We've kicked Kenyan butt many times. Okay? The Blitzbokke. We have the best wine in the world. At least we start agreeing now on something. And then also, the Cape has been voted quite regularly one of the best international tourist destinations in the world. And of course, we're the Rainbow Nation. So, anyway, you guys must be wondering why this Mzungu is standing here and bragging about his country like this. But I want to tell you about me growing up in South Africa as an Afrikaner in the 70s and the 80s. Now, South Africa was a very different place then. Racism was the norm. In fact, we had a special derogatory name for black people. Now, we were privileged enough that my parents, Joe and Marty, brought us up in a very liberal atmosphere. So, to use the derogatory K word was banned in our house. And my dad, Joe, was an entrepreneur like me, born in 1939. And he then, as a young man, traveled to the UK, when most South Africans found it a challenge to travel from Joburg to Durban. Now, traveling from Joburg to Durban is like traveling from Nairobi to Mombasa, right? So it was quite a feat. Anyway, he went to the UK, and from there he traveled to many other European countries, meeting different people from different walks of life. And he told us a story about those travels. Quite a few naughty ones also. So that whole experience changed his perspective. So he came back a changed man. So I think our liberal upbringing is in great part due to the fact that he traveled abroad, and he came back and he was so irritated and frustrated with all the stupid and ridiculous apartheid laws, like the pass law, which basically was created to control the movement of black people. So, when I look back at this, I actually feel very privileged to have lived at this time. I saw Nelson Mandela being released from jail. We most probably lived through the most significant change in Africa in recent times, and against all odds, peaceful change. So we lived through all of that, and I did my little bit to make this happen by voting yes in the 1992 referendum. But this was a very tough time for us, me personally, my family, my tribe. As an Afrikaner, we were very, very, very scared. Because what were the consequences going to be handing the country to the very people that you've been oppressing for years? So, what was going to become of us? We were very scared. Some of my countrymen started stockpiling food because we were going to have civil war, right? Everybody was going to die. Other guys celebrated. But it was a very, very tough time for all of us. But we had to do the right thing. We had to be brave. And despite the consequences, and even if there was going to be bloodshed, we had to change the wrongs of the past. And so we did. So, in amongst all of this chaos and turmoil, the love doctor came a calling. And my father employed a hot, dark-skinned Indian girl. God bless him. And he employed her as an admin clerk. And later that year, I joined the company as an assistant restaurant manager. So me and Loshni became colleagues. And I don't have to say more, I don't think. So we became colleagues, and obviously when I needed some admin help, I had to convince Loshni to help me. And when I wanted the odd promotional poster for the menu done, obviously I had to convince her to help me with that. Because in those days we were handmade. You didn't just go and print a poster from your computer, right? It was handmade with love. So, one thing led to another. And before we knew it, we couldn't wait for month-end stock take. Because we were going to go and take stock of some dry goods and packaging. And being young professional people, our stock takes had to be accurate. So we took our time about it. So, if you want to test your family's liberalism as an Afrikaner, bring home a dark-skinned girl that works for your dad. You know that we all use that shocked face emoji these days, right? It was created on that day. So, it's like, hi, meet Loshni. It's like, what the? It was created that day. But I don't want you to underestimate the gravity of the situation. It was against the law to date someone of color. Yes, folks, my tribe even had a law against dating someone of color. And it was called the Immorality Act. It wasn't that funny then. You could be arrested for that. Anyway, so, despite our family's reactions and the risk of getting arrested, our relationship grew. Now it was time for me to go and join the South African Defence Force for my compulsory national service, which was a privilege reserved only for white young males. Because only white people can look after and defend other white people, right? Anyway, so I then completed my junior leadership course to become a lieutenant in the army. So during this training period, there was a family day, a family fun day. And everybody was so excited. The anticipation was unbelievable because now you're going to see your loved ones for the first time in a very long time. So it was a fun day. People came, each family tried to barbecue a bigger steak than the next one. Sorry, braai. It's called braai. To braai a bigger steak than the next family. And of course, you got to invite your girlfriend. And I didn't invite Loshni. I couldn't get myself to invite Loshni. Because what would my parents say? What would my fellow servicemen say? What would the visitors say? I regret not inviting Loshni that day. I betrayed myself. I betrayed everything I stood for. And I betrayed all the beliefs I had. And I really regret that day. And you know, what other people will say has robbed so many people and their hearts of their dreams and desires. So, anyway, our relationship then survived all of that, despite our differences in culture, religion, upbringing, eating habits, toilet habits, all the habits. And by the way, I love a hot Indian curry, man. It's the best. So it survived all of that. And we then were also able to convince everybody else that this is not just a rebellious fad, and that our children, in fact, will not look like zebras. Sorry, Shade and Talia. We got married 21 years ago. After 7 years of dating. I know, I'm a slow learner. And 7 years of overcoming condemning stares, of overcoming embarrassing situations, of overcoming rejection from people that you did never expected it from. So we still did it after all of that. But please, let's not fool ourselves, guys. This is not South Africa in the 80s. And it still happens today. If I took a pretty young Kenyan girl by the hand today, and I walked down Kenyatta Avenue, pinky like this. I'm not talking Koinange, I'm talking Kenyatta. Kenyatta Avenue, swinging it like that nicely. Swinging it. We would not be spared the condemning stares, the uncomfortable conversations, and all the embarrassment that goes with it. So, we all face challenges in life. What is the one thing that you're prepared to give everything and risk all for? What is it? Do you want to start your own business? Do you want to get out of the rat race and change your lifestyle? Do you want to stop being a slave to money and living up with the Joneses? Do you want to help shape the future of your country? What is it? What is that one thing that'll get you out of your comfort zone? That'll stop you from complaining about how things should be? What is that one thing that'll give you the guts to stand up, make a difference, and follow your passion? Thank you.